The Brotherhood is here. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. I'm not sure if I screwed up. Well, I do now because I double checked with people. I remember when I did my first Brotherhood of Steel introduction with Paladin Dance, and we gave him a communicator, and I was like, these guys are kind of jerks, and I was tempted to kill them, but I was also kind of curious about the story. Their story's usually pretty good. So I left them alone. And then the Brotherhood turned up in a spectacular fashion of their mothership floating above Boston with an array of vehicles near it. And I'm like, oh no, did I do this? People did say it was scripted, so it's fine. But I haven't delved into that yet. That might be on my agenda for today. But what a journey it was. We need to talk about Nikki Valentine. I do want to bring up a number of the side stories that are going on, because it was one of the regular things I heard from people. It's like, oh, it's just an empty world. And I'm like, and I'm not trying to be a shill, but it's just not true. And it's really annoying. It's really very annoying. I cannot forgive this game for its bugginess. Can't do that by any means. But once you get it working, it's pretty damn good. I decided to spend my Friday sort of fleshing out a lot of the world quests. I had some number of things like a DJ. The DJ for Diamond Radio's got no confidence. So we had to set up a fake bar fight, which I think is unfair how this played out, right? And I'm still haunted by this. So I went there, and he's in the bar, and there's a guy picking a fight with him. And so I was like, okay, I got you, bro. I've got you back, blah, blah, blah. And then we get into a little fisticuffs fight. It wouldn't give you a weapon. I actually was holding back, legitimately. I was holding back to let him deal with it, to see whether that would pay off in any way. But he was kind of getting his butt kicked, so I threw a couple of punches. And then it stopped. The fight stops. There was two people who were fighting him, and nothing was going on. I was like, oh, one of the guys, walked away. The other guy stood still, but the other guy started walking around the place. I was like, maybe the fight's not over because nothing initiated. So I went over and I punched the other guy, and he died on the floor. And then the quest carried on. So I was like, oh, we did it. Good job. We did it. I fixed it. I fixed the problem. All right, cool. And then we played out. Only to get pulled aside by, I think he's called Edrem, one of the brothers who runs the bar. And he goes, you killed the guy. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. That's not on me. That's not on me. It didn't update. It's like, you killed that guy. He was just a paid guy to start a fake fight with the DJ to give him some confidence, and you killed him. Why did you do that? And I'm like, I didn't mean to. I genuinely didn't mean to. So from there he goes, right, we have more to do, but stop killing people. But all right, like Daddy's shouting at me, and we have to set him up on a date with Scarlett, who's one of the employees at the bar, which goes quite well. She quite likes him, give him some encouragement and send him on his merry way. And then they're going to play out. And then Vadim gets kidnapped because of the death. It kept coming back, because of the death. It's he's been kidnapped now by raiders. So you need to go deal with that. And I was like, oh my God, man. One punch, dude. I had to go sort that out. And the DJ comes along, which was nice. And you rescue Vadim, and he gets his confidence. And eventually, once he makes his way back, because obviously he's got to travel back in real time to Diamond City, the radio station's all changed again. And he's all confident now. And he's like, yeah, we're checking this out, and the brewery's been dealt with, and blah, 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 blah. And that all played out really nicely. It was good. It was a good little culmination of the story. And now the radio station's a bit different. It was one of those side stories that was really cool. Then it was kind of time, really, we did a bunch of other little side stories to, first of all, go and find Nick. That was the main thing. Go and find Nick. The game was heavily indicating, you should go and find Nick. You should do that. And one of the things I worry about when I play these games, where you can just kind of sidetrack off into the ether forever, is that there are major additions to the game that you're just missing because they're MSQ locks, right? They're main story locked. And it's happened to us a number of times where by the time I've gone back to the main story, suddenly you either have a brand new superpower, which would have been super helpful earlier on, or there's a major twist to the world or the landscape or something like that you probably should have had by now, and it would have changed the entire outcome. So I was like, right, let's do some main story. My quest log is completely filled, but let's go and do some main story for a bit, and then we'll see if anything happens and go on. So I had to go and find Nick in a train station, which was fine. Just fought the way through there. This thing really is playing on my mind. Nick is a synth, which many of you probably knew. I didn't know that. And I was like, oh, Nick's a synth who lives in Diamond City. And seemingly, at least so far, Nick is a trustworthy guy and could be your companion and all that kind of stuff. And I find this very confusing. Very, very confusing. Because we're talking about Diamond City. And Diamond City, one of the first things that... there's two main things that are told to you when you get to Diamond City. One is that they got rid of all others. Like, ghouls were just banished from there. They don't want others there. This is like the pure safe haven, right? And so any sort of abominations or whatever you want to call them are not welcome. Which I would think includes synths. The second thing is, these people are living in the terror of McCarthyism about synths. Specifically about synths. To the point that brother is killing brother in the streets on suspicion, even remote suspicion, that they may be a synth. And they're blowing each other's heads off. And there's people who are like completely paranoid about synths being everywhere. And the news report about the mayor is the mayor might be a synth. Right? All this stuff is going on. Yet Nick lives there and he's a synth. And some people are like, well, he's one of the good ones. And I'm like, that just doesn't sit well with me at this point. Because I have to imagine, based on real world stuff, if you had a populace that was entirely terrified of an other, right? Be it a synth or whatever, being anybody, and the fact that they are by their very nature electronic, which indicates they could be reprogrammed, I would imagine, right? I don't know, maybe I don't know enough synth lore that like once they've had their programming, that's it, then it can't be changed, but I don't think that's the case. Then they would be absolutely not okay with a synth living in the city, but they're fine with it. They're like, yeah, he's one of the good ones, is kind of the attitude I think they're playing into here, which I get as well. It's like, oh yeah, he's not like them. He's one of the others. He's like one of us others. And I'm like, okay. Okay. I'll let it slide, but it is a little weird for me. But on the other side of it, Nick's really cool. Nick is very, very cool. He's a really cool guy. He's got that like 1950s detective swagger. He's like, here, see, we're going to go and solve the crime. So he's a wise guy, eh? He's like that kind of guy. And then he takes on the case of what happened to Sean. And in that, we discover who the scarred bald man was that killed our husband and took Sean. I forget his name. Kellogg's. Yeah. We're looking for Tony the Tiger. He's called Kellogg. And they know about Kellogg. And Kellogg actually lives in Diamond City. This was cool because they then played into you having the dog to sniff down. I hope this mechanic comes in later. I suspect it doesn't because it's a main story thing. But the idea that dog meat, I'll call him for the sake of the video, can actually sniff out through the wastelands targets is something that I do hope they use again. Because it's a skill that is quite invaluable when you're hunting and you probably get bounties and things through the wastelands, but you do have quest markers as well, so it's whatever. So we're going to hunt down Kellogg. Surprisingly enough, we find him pretty quickly. He was in the base that we'd already cleared out, where I was told, like, you're going to come back here later because there were enemies in there that we couldn't quite access. So it was the main story, and it was for Kellogg. Where we kill Kellogg. He's dead. And he reveals that Sean is with the Institute, and Sean is older. So I'm really, really happy that this story element came out, because it was bothering me. It reminds me of some other games where there's a very obvious twist coming that you can see so far away, and your character is just so dumb, they're not getting it. And you sit here as the player going, like, clearly this is not what's going on, right? And it's not because you're a genius or anything, it's because it's so plastered in your face, is that Sean is either... Sean is either very, very old at this point, or Sean has, like, lived, died, and had children, and his son, or whatever, is called Sean, right? Something like that is going on, and they actually just were, like, on the face of it. Yeah, Sean's not the age you remember. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. I think our character still sees them as a baby, which I can buy into. That's the last time they saw them. Still be a child. I don't want to face the fact that I missed my entire son's life. And for them, it only happened a few minutes ago. I can buy into that, but everybody else is like, yeah, that Sean's not a kid in any way, shape, or form. So very happy that that is very on the nose and not trying to conceal it, because I was expecting a really stupid twist at the end where it's like, I'm an old man, and she's like, oh my God, I never saw this coming. It's like, we saw this coming from the beginning of the game. Like the absolute beginning of the game. And so we got Kellogg dead. But now we're kind of stuck because the Institute is unfindable, right? It is completely unfindable. There's no way of finding the Institute. People have looked forever and ever and ever, and they just cannot find it. So I thought we were going to go down the road of, well, if we can't get to them, we have to get the Institute to come to us. That would be the obvious solution, is like we need to do something that forces the Institute to come and find us, but we're not doing that. In fact, what we're going to do is use Kellogg's brain chip, because he was cybernetically enhanced, in order to access his memories of where he did the drop with Sean. How did he get Sean to the Institute? Because via that we'll be able to find out where the Institute is the idea. And we're going to use the memory bunkers that we found in Good Neighbor. Yeah, in Good Neighbor. So it's all tying together. It's cohesive. Makes sense. It's like, okay, we can use this piece of technology and we can go there and we can access the memories and we can see what's going on. And that's where we're up to. I'm bypassing a lot of stuff here because there's tons and tons of side quests, including somebody in Diamond City is a synth. Like, I've been very, very tempted to like kill a bunch of people and save scum to find out who's a synth or not. Like, who is the mayor of synth? Blah, 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 blah. But I'm not doing that because I think it's less fun. I prefer the mystery of who it might be, so to speak, and figure that out from there. But so far, so good. My next stop is either going to be, I think I'm going to check out these memories of Kellogg, but then I think I want to go and see the Brotherhood of Steel and see what the hell is going on there. We've made some major advancements in the game. The Brotherhood is here. They're up to something. Don't know what it is. I'm very curious about what all that is. One thing I do want to let you guys know is we'll be on a slight pause for probably a couple of days only on Fallout, purely to do our midnight pre-launch leveling, get our Warlock and our Rogue sorted. But obviously it's pre-launch, so there's no big gear to get or anything like that till next week. So I'll do that and then finish out Fallout is the game plan. That's what we're going to do. All right. So thank you and stay tuned because I really want to know what the Brotherhood's up to. It's sus. Bye, guys.